Greetings, everyone. Happy Winter Solstice. This is one of my favorite days of the year because from now on, the days are going to be getting longer. So, hello, everybody. This is Christine, and today we're talking about the solstice. And since it is the longest night of the year, we're going to talk about the winter sky, and we're going to try to paint some constellations. So if you can, please say hello in the chat box, like Kat from New York. Tell me if you can see any stars last night or hopefully tonight. It's pretty rainy here in Oregon. Anyway, midwinter, winter solstice. And so this is the longest night and the shortest day in the northern hemisphere, of course. It's just the opposite in the southern hemisphere. And here where I am in Oregon, for example, our day today is about 9 hours and our night is about 15 hours. And I looked it up, and it's a little bit funny that I am right now in Southern Oregon, and the day is 13 minutes longer than it is where I live in Central Oregon, which is north of here. So the closer you go to the equator, even a small amount, the longer the days. So it's all at the equator, for example, in Quito, Ecuador, that I've been lucky enough to visit. We've always got 12 hours day and 12 hours night. But throughout the year, as you go north, and right now with the Earth tilted away from the sun, we have the longest nights. So as you continue to go north towards the North Pole, the nights get longer and longer. So right now at Santa's workshop, there's no day, whereas if you're in, say, like Alaska and Sweden, maybe there's about 4 hours worth of day. And tell me in the chat box if you've ever been to any of those places that are far north. It is quite the experience. I've been lucky to visit Alaska, I think about 4 times. And it's really interesting that the sun doesn't rise until 10 a.m. and then it sets at 2 p.m. Very strange. So anyway, we are celebrating the solstice, and folks have celebrated the solstices and the equinoxes for millennia, since before the Stone Age. And people have built monuments to keep track of the celestial movements, like, of course, Stonehenge kept track of the solstices and the equinoxes. In ancient Egypt, the temples as well, and all the major civilizations, the Mayans and Aztecs and Incas, they all knew a lot about how celestial bodies moved. And they really celebrated today because from now on, again, the days are going to get longer. And so let's see, what else was I going to say? So anyway, today we are talking about the sky. Now, remember, this is a 12-day series. This is part of my 12 days of Draw Paintmas, where we focus on plants and animals of winter and of the holidays and the Christmas holiday as well. And so if you've been following along, we've been doing things like drawing these holiday ornaments and the furs. And we drew the Arctic hares yesterday, and we've drawn the holly and painted them, and as well as the snowy owl. Now tomorrow, today's already day 9. So tomorrow we're doing a really beautiful Christmas cactus because it's named after Christmas and it blooms during Christmas. So that's going to be really pretty. These blooms aren't quite open yet, so we are going to use a photo reference tomorrow. And then the next day, we're doing various Christmas trees in watercolor. So both of those days are watercolors. And then, of course, Christmas Eve, we are doing Santa's reindeer. And we're going to do a very realistic drawing of a reindeer and learn about them. So Kat says, New York is the Northeast I've gotten in winter. Anyway, I'm not sure what you're saying there. And hello, Karen from Reno. Thanks so much. And Priscilla from New York City. So yeah, I hope you can stick around for the next few days. And of course, if you can't join us live, you can always watch the replays. The best place to do that is on YouTube because it's really easy to see all my live streams. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment because for some reason, I think the comments are not working on Facebook. Okie dokie. So if you got my email today, you saw that I suggested that you already have some night sky painted. I'm going to get rid of all these other things. This was our northern lights we did the other day. And that was super fun. I did a bunch of versions of that. So anyway, since the night sky takes a while to paint, I've decided to ask you if you could to pre-paint or just to have some dark paper. And don't worry if you don't have either one of these things. You can just use white paper and pencil for fun for now. Hello, Cindy. But this time I used acrylics. I'm borrowing them from my friend where I'm staying here. I'm actually house sitting. My friend is in the tropics, bird watching. So she's got a wonderful art studio and has loaned me some materials. So I decided to use acrylics because they're a lot more opaque. I just couldn't get my watercolors dark enough for the sky. So I used some various blues and pinks and blacks and purples. And so I already prepped some pages. But again, maybe you might just have a black construction paper or nothing at all. You can just watch for now. Okay. And then I always like to have a bunch of scratch paper to practice. And so, yeah, what I did is I created 2 of these because we're going to do 2 of them. And I had them taped down while I was painting them. So I might as well pull the tape off now. And the tape gives you a nice border as well. Because remember, all of these projects we're doing during the 12 days of Draw Paintmas, you can finish up on your own and create holiday cards, whether they're New Year's cards or Christmas cards or some other holiday. You do need to be careful of when you're tearing this masking tape off that it doesn't rip off some of the color like I probably did here. Oh, well. And then so like these could be used for greeting cards. So that's why I made 2 of them. And I'm just going to cut them in half. So I'm going to talk about 2 different constellations. So we've already done the sky a couple times. We did a snowy sky when we did the snowy owl. And then we did a sky for the northern lights, like I said, and that was a really fun project. I do hope you get a chance to go back and do that one. But yeah, we're doing another sky because, like I said, since it's winter solstice and it's the longest night of the year, you might just be able to see some constellations. Now, it's sad that it's not as easy to see the stars as it was when we were kids, right? Depending on how old you are. And if you lived more in a rural area when there was a lot fewer people and a lot less light pollution. Here in Oregon, especially Eastern Oregon, we have some really nice internationally recognized dark skies and a wonderful observatory that's just about an hour east of Bend, Oregon, where I live. And so I've been able to go there and observe stars. So tell me in the chat box if you've ever been to an astronomical observatory. We also have a nice one right in Bend at the Sun River Nature Center and Observatory. And so, you know, you might have looked at stars with the naked eye or with the telescope. You can even use binoculars. I use my bird watching binoculars to look at the stars. And so, yeah, I thought we would just do some fun constellations where we draw the stars and then kind of draw an outline of what the animal would look like in the constellations. Let's see. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm so glad you're here with me live. You know, yesterday, no one was here live, and I couldn't figure it out until I was over, and I realized I went live an hour early because my clock was wrong. I can't believe I was looking at the wrong clock. So I don't know if very many of you caught the my Arctic Hare replay. Karen says Mount Wilson you went to this summer and looked through the historic 60-inch and 100-inch telescopes. Wonderful. Oh, that's very cool. Great. All righty. So anyway, tell me in the chat box if you're ready with some paper. Again, these are the papers that I use these acrylics with, and I just did kind of wet and wet with really big brush with just really big strokes. And so that's what I have to work with. So in terms of constellations, you know, before we had so much light pollution for millions of years, well, humans have been around for a few 100,000 years. We've been appreciating the sky and wondering how the stars moved and trying to figure out the patterns of those movements and naming some of the stars and planets. And then different cultures have noticed different groupings of stars that we now call constellations. And those are things that you can kind of recognize that look like a person, like the hunter, or an animal, like what we're going to look at today, the Canis Major, the great dog, and Taurus, the bull. And so people have been kind of making connections between the stars and creating them into an animal or a person for thousands of years. And of course, the movement of the stars have also helped people in navigation, especially across the oceans where there weren't any other landmarks. So constellations and stars and planets have been really important to humanity for years and years. Okay, so anyway, I thought, let me see. I'm going to get rid of me here. Let's see. How can I do this as usual? Always confused. Hi, Angela from Derbyshire, UK. Wonderful. Have you been able to see any stars lately? So here's kind of what we're doing. Canis Major is the dog, and I've got an outline of the dog. And then Taurus is the bull, and I haven't outlined that. We will try to draw a bull together, but let's draw the dog first. And so Canis, that's the genus of dog, and major means large. So Canis Major means the great dog. And it's home to Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. So you can see right where his heart is, that's Sirius. So yeah, there's lots of other things you can see, you know, during different parts of the year. You can see different constellations, including other, let's see, I'm kind of cheating here because I don't know much about astronomy, but there's the winter triangle, the winter hexagon, Perseus and Andromeda, Cassiopeia. I know that one really well. That's like a big W in the sky. That one's easy. So definitely certain constellations are more visible in certain times of the year, and also whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere. Okay, so anyway, now, so I'm going to start with the dog, and unfortunately, I don't know how to make this live streaming app make the photograph. This is Canis Major, and my table equal sizes like I can do with my face and the drawing. So we're going to have to just kind of go back and forth. But I think maybe, and this is another problem, is when I get this bigger, then it's right in the middle of my face. So, but I can't remove my face because then it would remove the audio. So all this technology stuff is super complicated. Anyway, so what am I going to use for drawing? Okay, let me get my mouse out of the way. So there's various things you can use. And as always, I like to first play with some scrap paper here. This is not the scrap paper of the acrylics, but it'll do. So I always like to practice beforehand. So I've got my a white, very thin pencil. Let's see what that does. I don't think that's going to be very opaque. You know, and certain parts of the this drawing should be more or less opaque, so we can just practice. And we've got a white charcoal pencil that's a little bit more opaque. We have a black charcoal pencil, and these are what I demonstrated with yesterday with Arctic Hare. And then we have various other opaque pens, like the Sharpie here. And you got to be kind of careful with those. You have to kind of push a few times, but sometimes they will kind of blob. So it's always good to practice. Let's see, what else do I have? I have got one of my Uniposca pens, and those, let's see, wait. Sorry, I can make that right big. These Uniposca pens are really wonderful, and they come in different thicknesses. And again, you kind of have to poke it a few times. So that can look like stars or snow. And then that makes some nice lines. And we have a thicker version of that here as well. But yeah, you got to be careful because he can come out in a big blob. What about this one? This is not going to be as good, I don't think, the uni ball. So it's kind of challenging to find really nice opaque white pens. You have to really just buy a few things. Yeah, that's kind of worthless. Alrighty, and then lastly, my favorite is this Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I poured some of that into the lid here. And I can use a very thin script brush. And let's see, how does that work? Yeah, like that. So, you know, I can use any of these things I feel most comfortable with. You know, some people like being able to, use a very small script brush. Maybe we can use that for the fur on the dog. Okay, so we're going to do the, now that we've practiced, I'm going to put this down, and we're going to do the dog. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to have the dog big. So anyway, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but we're going to do the stars first. And I think what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can find this other photo. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I'm multitasking here. So we're gonna draw the stars first. And I think I'm gonna start right in the middle with Sirius. And then, I'm gonna use this kind of pale, because I'm gonna make it look like each star is sort of glowing. So you see the glow around the star, like in the photograph. And then there's a head. This one is a really good one. So I'm just making those kind of soft. And then there's a leg of the dog, and another, well, I'm connecting them now. I didn't mean to do that right away. Alrighty, and then the shoulder and the hip and the base of the tail. And then there's another tail, and then down from the hip, there's the knee area, and then the ankle. Oops. Right now. There we go. And so, yeah, I'm going to make the stars the brightest and connecting them. And then we can make them brighter with the Uniposca, and especially Sirius. And so, yeah, I'm supposed to kind of make the fuzzy light of the star was with my charcoal, and then the actual star itself. Let's see, what's that look like? Oh yeah, that doesn't work very well. So it's really good to practice because, yeah, this very thin pencil doesn't really work. So the more you practice, the better. Okay, now, so that's what I have so far. And I'm not sure if in the photograph my dog is facing left or right because where it says Canis Major, he's facing to my right, but I think the camera switches it this way. And in my drawing, he's facing left. I don't know. So whatever. So anyway, now I'm going to try to draw the dog. And I think I'm going to use, I think I'm going to make him sort of a golden retriever, like is in the photograph. I just got this photograph as a stock image. But this is just a fun idea you can do with any constellations. But anyway, so this is a golden retriever. And I used to always have golden retrievers basically my whole life. And I used to volunteer with a golden retriever rescue. So I thought this would be fun. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of copy what I see here. I'll start with his head, and I'm just going to kind of make him look furry. His eye isn't one of the stars. His mouth opening looks like it's one of the stars. And then down and kind of down here. Let's see, and down to the paw. Let's see, and then he has a big ear. My last golden retriever was actually kind of a Heinz 57. She was what we think is half golden retriever and half spaniel. So she had really big spaniel eyes and big spaniel ears. But otherwise, she had kind of the fur of a golden retriever, but it was curly like a kind of like a spaniel, like an English spaniel. She was so cute. And because she was kind of a Heinz 57 and not a purebred, she lived to be what we thought was about 17 years old because she was a rescue. And the vets thought at the rescue that she was already about at least 5 years old when I got her, and she lived another 10 years. And that was my last dog. Okay, tell me if you're following along. Let me make this bigger. And so you could just follow this if you want. And so coming down, there's the hip, and there's the base of the tail. And then we have a fun kind of fluffy tail. Let's see. And then we've got a fluffy belly. And then the hip. And fluffy rump feathers. That's kind of fun. What do you guys think of that? His nose is a little bit short, I think. That's fun. I also kind of got this idea of the constellations. I've got to give credit where credit is due. Is one of my favorite YouTube channels is a wildlife photographer in Sweden, and she got famous photographing her local European red squirrels. Her name is Danny Connor, and she has a YouTube channel called Danny Connor Wild. And she also leads wildlife photography tours to really beautiful exotic locations. So she's actually doing a daily kind of vlogmas, sort of like I am, and sharing fun art projects and recipes and just traditions that she's doing. And oh, I want to give him another link. And so one of the art projects she did was sort of like this, where she made greeting cards of the constellations. But yeah, so I thought that would be fun. So I got to give credit to her. Again, if you want to check out her YouTube channel, she's called Danny Connor, Dani Connor Wild on YouTube. What do you think? I think that's kind of cute. I like that. Tell me in the chat box, are you following along? So this is just fun. There's so many of these constellations, and you can make these for New Year's cards, or even holiday or Yuletide cards, midwinter greeting cards, whatever, or even ornaments. You can do a lot with this kind of thing. But anyway, I think that's my dog. I kind of want to put a Santa hat on him. I almost put a Santa hat on the Arctic hares yesterday, but I forgot. Okay, how we doing? You ready to move on to the bull? Taurus, the bull. Let me just leave this here for a minute for you. And let me find my information about Taurus, the bull, if I can. Yeah, so this one, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, winter is the best time to observe the constellation Canis Major, or the Greater Dog. It's easy to find it since it follows Orion the Hunter up from the horizon, heading from southeast to southwest. Also, Sirius, the brightest star, not only in Canis Major, but the entire sky, is at its heart. And so, again, I could kind of make that bigger if I want. I think that's fun. All righty. I did have a picture somewhere of the bull. That the one's not as realistic. We have to, let's see, Taurus the bull constellation. I'm looking it up here, and I'm trying to find a good paint drawing of it. And of course, I can't find it right now. Just tell me in the chat box if you guys are getting ready to move on. I had it in my photographs here somewhere. Screenshots. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, I have it. I have it here. Okay. Hi, Jackie. You're in Houston right now. That's right. You're a bit late. That's okay. So we've been talking about the winter solstice. And since this is the longest night of the year, I thought I would do some fun night skies. And we're talking about the constellations. And this is the dog, or Canis Major. And so I already pre-prepped these, again, with acrylic paints, because they don't wrinkle the paper as much, and they're just a lot quicker to get really dark than watercolor. So I'm going to move on to this one. I don't know where my tape is. Never can find anything when I'm looking for it. I have too many art supplies here. I don't know where it is. Did I show you guys my, where is it? Dang. Okay. We're going to wing it. Alrighty. So I'm going to go back. Okay. So there's Taurus. It's not as obvious, but the two kind of horn things going off to the left, those are his horns. So this is Taurus the bull. And then this triangle to the right is its head. Okay, so anyway, let's try to do that. Let me see. Yes, Cindy said sunset in New Hampshire is 4:13. We always look forward to more daylight starting tomorrow. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's coming. Okie dokie. So I'm going to try the bowl now. And so I have, let's see, oh, there we go. I actually have two phones to try to help me keep up with this so that I can see everything since I can't show it all on the screen. Okay. So we are going to, I forgot, I don't know where I put the names of the stars, but anyway, if we kind of start right in the middle, and then there's his lower horn, there's some stars, and then a star kind of far away, and then kind of pair of stars, another star, and another horn, farthest one. And then there's one kind of over here, and one here, and one here. Okay, so like I did before, I'm kind of starting with kind of making these fuzzy. So, every medium looks different. So I'm just going to make those sort of fuzzy. And then I'm going to strengthen them with trying to make the actual star with the Uniposca pen. And a couple of them are super bright. I'll have to look those up in a minute to see the names of those. And then I can kind of connect them really subtly with the pen. I mean the charcoal pencil to make it more subtle. And then I'm going to have to draw the bowl. Okay. And you guys don't have this bowl picture, but I guess you can just try to follow along with me. So I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm not, it's just up to interpretation, right? So I'm going to draw, I think his head is mainly like this part. And, of course, different cultures saw the stars as different things, different connections. Some ears. Maybe that was one of his eyes. And then the horns. And a horn. And let's see. He was kind of smiling. Maybe a little nostril here. And that might have been one eye. That might have been another eye. This doesn't look as good as the other one. So again, there's the drawing I'm using. There's probably a lot of other Taurus the bull drawings that you could use. And so again, there's just a million things. Taurus the bull constellation outline. I'm just looking something up here. I keep coming up with that one that I don't really like that much. And so, there's any number of these that you could look at. Yeah, so they're each one is a little bit different. So, you could choose your favorite. But anyway, yeah, I don't think that's that great. These look more like ears than horns. I don't know. I didn't do that one very good. Let me see. Let me give you this back. So yeah, that's not as obvious Taurus as Canis Major, is it? Okay. Well, I really like the dog. I really like the dog more. Okay. Well, any questions so far? So yeah, today was day 9 of our 12 days of Draw Paintmas. And I hope you had fun and you'll keep working on yours. And again, if you didn't prep paper already, you can do that. And then you can look up any constellation you want to. And especially there are specific constellations that are in the winter sky that you can look for, and then do these little fun drawings. And then, again, if you want, make them into greeting cards or postcards to send to folks. Hardly anybody gets anything in the mail anymore, and it's so special. So, like I said, tomorrow we're going to do watercolor, and I just can't get this out of here. Get that out of my face. Tomorrow we're going to do these Christmas cactuses, and I have a really good reference photo for us because these aren't quite opened yet. But we'll talk a bit about cactus and Christmas cactus, and then we'll draw them and paint them in watercolor. So make sure to have those ready. And then again, the next day will be various species of Christmas trees in watercolor. And then we will do our, where'd you go? We will do Santa's reindeer pulling a sled. So we'll talk about reindeer biology. So we really have talked a lot about things that live in the far north, like reindeers and Arctic hares and snowy owls. And then we've talked about other things that just are named after Christmas, like Christmas cactus, or that are used during Christmas, like hollies and poinsettias. So I really hope you've been enjoying this series. If you have, please share. There should be a share button down below in both Facebook and YouTube. Share this with somebody you know, somebody who loves nature and creativity. And because the more people that know about my work, the better, and it'll be shown to more people on the social medias. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. And I'd love to see your finished product sometime. I am doing a special. I forgot to mention that, but I've mentioned it in the past, is that if you complete all 12 days of Draw Paintmas and submit those to me by email, I will give you a discount code for the Nature Notebook Club, which is my exclusive online membership community. We have nearly 70 members now. And we have monthly meetups, and we have a community page, like a private kind of Facebook page where we share sketches and journal pages of things we've been seeing. We have monthly master classes. So anyway, I'll give you the founding member price of just $22 a month instead of $29 a month if you submit those. So yes, Cindy said you're very interested in a reindeer very far north. I need to look up where it is. Right. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. And we'll draw them realistically, but we'll also put them in their sleigh. Now, it's not just, Santa that used reindeer. Of course, they've been used for thousands of years by people in the north, like in northern Finland and Norway and Sweden. And so they used these kind of sleighs. So we'll draw the reindeer and the sleigh and talk about reindeer biology. Oh, Cindy said it's Svalbard reindeer, only located in Svalbard. Yeah, very cool. I think those guys are more white, aren't they? There's some varieties that are more white than kind of gray or tan. So those are very beautiful. Okay, well, I got to get going. I hope you continue on with your constellations or try some other ones. It's really easy just to Google constellations visible in the winter sky, and you can see other ones and paint, whichever ones you want. And this is a really fun activity. You can also do it with kids in your life because it's so easy, especially if you prep the postcard-sized kind of sky background. And then if you want, of course, you can always add snow in front of these. So that's fun too. Okay, well, I got to get going. Take care. Bye-bye.